Hi everyone, today we are in Module 7 and we are looking at two different types of research designs. We're looking at action research and we're looking at single subject designs. And I think whenever I think of counseling research, that these are the two types of research designs that really come to the forefront in my mind is what we might do just kind of naturally or as part of our process of improving ourselves as counselors out there in the field. It may be that the action research isn't as much of a hard science per se as maybe like the single subject design. Single subject, a lot of times we're thinking in terms of behavioral modification programs and actually collecting data and using baseline information, which the ABA people love to say is that's the hard fact science, right? But within both of these types of research designs, what we're really doing as the researcher, as the person kind of reflecting on whatever that particular problem is, whether we're working with a group of individuals, we're seeing a trend in our counseling agency, we're seeing a trend with our clients, maybe we're seeing a trend in our community, and so we're wanting to open up this research problem or research question to a broader audience and potentially include those participants or those people that are actually being impacted by whatever the injustice is, for example. So in these types of research designs, we are truly reflecting on what could be made better in the practice that we're doing. So you have to be reflective. I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make. You have to be very reflective and self-aware. And so with action research, we're proposing these research problems, we're deriving a hypothesis, we're going to go out and look at the literature and say, all right, well, am I the only one that's experiencing this problem, or am I the only one that's seen this? If not, what does the literature say? Maybe I can do like a small-scale research study on this one little area and see what happens. And then from that, I can figure out ways to implement some strategies or take some action, right? That's where the action part comes in. What actions can I take? What interventions can I give to this population to maybe help resolve the issue that I initially presented? And so that's kind of the flow of an action research project. And then at the end of it, so once you've done the literature review, once you've potentially analyzed some data that might currently exist, maybe you've developed some specific interventions to give to your treatment group, a group of individuals, you've done that, you've collected data again to see if it worked, what didn't, maybe going back again and circling around and doing it again, and then publishing your information or disseminating it in general to others in your agency or the community or whoever it might be, to let everybody else know what you found worked. And so that's kind of the basis of action research. And again, a lot of times when we think of research, and I know that happens with this class too, our mind automatically goes to statistics and statistical analyses and SPSS and publications and peer-reviewed journals. And yes, that is a very large part of research, obviously, and that makes that's what is the foundation kind of for our evidence-based practices. But there's so much more that we do in the counseling profession that really is considered research, just not in maybe that academic way that we're used to hearing about. And so I really want you guys to start with this module because after this we go into a couple of weeks where we're going to be focusing on the needs assessment and the program evaluation, and I'm kind of tweaking that assignment a little bit, I think, so bear with me if some changes come out with that. I want to make sure that it's going to be beneficial for you guys in the long run. But so with action research and single subjects research, that's kind of where we're going with this program evaluation idea, right? So I want you to start thinking about yourself as a future practitioner, working with the population that you want to work with, addressing the problems, the problem statement that you've developed over these past couple of weeks, and thinking more broadly. Just kind of let the brain flow, let those juices go, and think, okay, well, this is the problem that I stated. The literature and the research that's been done supports that this is a problem or an ongoing problem. What can I do to fix it, right? That's where you're at right now. Single subject designs, kind of shift here. Single subject designs are kind of are what they say. You're looking at one individual and changes with that one particular individual. Now you might have a group of individuals that are all experiencing the same type of problem, and so you might be providing the intervention, simultaneously or concurrently to these individuals, but you're just simply looking at how that intervention impacts that one individual, and there are, of course, inherent issues with that in terms of validity and reliability. And so I put a video up. The videos that I put up this week, because action research and single subjects research have broader implications in the field of education, and I don't want to say social work, even though that's in it too, but for those individuals that have applied behavioral analysis, those are the individuals that are really kind of using single subject designs. And so you see, references to Skinner and behavioral analysis within the textbook, and I mean, it is what it is. So the videos are not directly related to counseling, but just try to flip what they're saying and think of it with a counselor brain. But so single subjects research, you're looking at that baseline, the baseline behavior, if you will, if you're looking to see how how a behavior is changing throughout time with a single individual. You're looking at some baseline data. You're seeing if the behavior exists and what conditions. Then you're implementing an intervention, tracking the data again. Excuse me, I'm fighting a very bad respiratory thing right now. Tracking how that intervention worked. If it didn't, maybe kind of going back and trying to answer the question of why it didn't work. And maybe that you're removing then that intervention, tracking that baseline again, putting the intervention back in, tracking again. So there's a lot of data analysis that comes with single subject designs. And I think the textbook does a good job at kind of illustrating that and providing some case examples of what that looks like. So like I said, I've got a couple of videos up this week that talk about action research. One, again, is specifically related to special education from the Perkins School for the Blind. But I think she throws in some examples of how these programs work with adults, and I think we could really see by the illustrations that they have what is meant by action research. And then a little clip on participatory action research, which is incredibly important in the world of counseling and rehabilitation counseling, because with participatory action research, PAR, we are inviting the people that whenever this intervention is put in, the results of the intervention, the results of the analysis are directly impacting those individuals. And so that's bringing them to the table, to the research table, involving them in the process from start to finish. And so, and a lot of times when we use PAR, it's kind of from a social justice advocacy type framework. But I definitely wanted to include some information on that and an additional article about it that is a little bit older, but still relevant today.